Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. It's a great day, guys. I woke up in a great mood, ready to roll, ready for a great day because we have a badass on the show today. Let me tell you, there's no other word for it. I saw her questionnaire last week and I was like, oh, I can't wait for this interview. And then everything aligned. Poor Dave not feeling well. I get to come in and be the one that gets to speak with her today. So it all worked out because I'm kind of fangirling over her. But before I bring her on, if you are new to the show and would like to get a text notification right a few minutes after we go live, I don't think it's hit my phone just yet, but it will in any moment. A text message with the direct link to the live feed, a little description, Monday through Friday. All you need to do are text the letters WUL to 813-296-8553. All right. We got a lot of people in the comments. Good morning, everyone. Without further ado, we have a criminal defense attorney who launched her side hustle. She's also military, active military. There's no other word. She's a badass. There's no other word. Please welcome Lindsay to the show. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Well, welcome. You have had quite a journey.
Yeah.
Quite a ride.
It's been amazing.
Yeah. So share with us how you fell into legendaries last.
I'm going to tell you, this is the story I feel like so many people will say. I was scrolling on TikTok. I was scrolling on Instagram, and I saw a mom. And that is true. That is my story. I saw Caroline, and I was watching her video. She was talking about how she went from, 0 to X whatever, and how it was changing her life and her family's life. And I thought it was a scam. I was like, no, she didn't. It's like not possible.
And you're a lawyer, so you
Right.
even think so even more, right?
More skeptical because I take anything everyone says with a grain of salt. So I was like, she's clearly just whatever, clickbait. But I did my research, and that's I did my research, and I was at a point where, even though I make great job as a lawyer, I have a lot of wonderful things going on. I still have a lot of debt. I don't know if anyone knows out there, but law school is expensive. And so I was at the point where I needed something because I have so many goals. Like there's so many things I wanted to do. And I thought, why not give this a shot? And I did, but I promised myself this. If I was going to do this, I was going to commit to it 110%. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to half step. I was going to do it 100% fully committed. And that's what I've done every step of the way. Every day I've shown up and consistently shown out. So here we are.
And that requirement, because it's a requirement to show up consistently, to go all in, to not have quitting on the table. It's not just a requirement for this. That's a requirement to get through law school.
It is.
That's a requirement with the military.
It is.
That's a requirement with all things. So at some point you have to make that decision that this is it. And law school's huge. Yeah. I'm going to go all in and accept the debt. I'm going to go all in and accept the hours and hours upon studying. I'm going to go all in with the difficult teachers. I'm going to go all in with the bar exam and all that, and you don't walk out of law school an instant millionaire. You are sitting there in a pile of debt and having to work through firms and things like that. And the same goes here with your business and anywhere else. You just don't have the big pile of debt attached to it as you launch, but you still have to go all in.
Yes.
So let's talk about what does all in look like.
Yeah.
I think people have different viewpoints, or there's so many walls. They're all in is like a little baby step. What is it? You can't, that's not really all in. So what's
No.
all in to you?
So, when I think about it, I'll say this, like, people go all in all the time, but we constantly think about it in this grand, like, illustration. You know what I mean? Like, I went all in law school. I went all in with the military. But if you're a parent and you actually show up for your kids, you're going all in on that every single day. If you go to work in the morning and you you get in your car and you drive there, you're going all in. It's
All
not
in.
a thing, but you're going all in. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so for me, I try and think about it on like the micro level, which is just like,
Mhm.
what am I going to do today? That's it. Just today, not trying to think about a 5-year plan, but how am I going to take a step forward today to achieve whatever it is that I need to achieve for this moment, for this hour, for this day, because I can easily get overwhelmed with, and many people, I think, with thinking about like, oh, if I need to get to an X, Y, and Z goal, and it
Mhm.
seems so far away. Or I want to be like these people who I see being very successful with affiliate marketing, and that seems so far away. No,
Mhm.
it's not. It just takes one small micro commitment. What are we
Right.
doing today? So for me, what that looks like is whether I have, and I tell this to people all the time, whether I have 15 minutes or whether I have an hour or whether I have two, I'm doing something on a daily basis that is related to my business. Whether that's listening to a training, whether that's looking at content that I feel like would be an inspiration for me, whether that's creating content. I don't make this like way bigger than it has to. I take the time that I have and I commit during that time to doing whatever it's going to be for that day.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's huge. And it's, so many of us get stuck on well, you got to have goals.
Mm-hmm.
But the goals are 5 year, like you said. They're
Yeah,
big, they're lofty, and then they don't look realistic
right.
because it's so far ahead. It's so many steps ahead. It's
Mm-hmm.
so many micro goals, like you shared,
Yep.
ahead that we don't know how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just the path isn't clear.
Right.
It's too far ahead, and then that's where the overwhelm comes. And it's hard for everyone to kind of recognize that. And it's really about forget the big goal, like have it at the beginning and
Right.
then release it kind of and focus on, yeah, what's one thing I can do today.
Right, right. And I think that, especially in the beginning of this journey, make that commitment to yourself for at least a month. I know people say longer, but
Mhm.
again, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. So
Right.
every day for 30 days, you can do anything for a month. That's what my mom always says. You can do anything for a month, right? Anything. So 15 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour.
Mhm.
Today, I'm doing something related to this, because then it feels a lot more attainable. It feels a lot more like, okay, yeah, like I've got 15 minutes between getting my coffee and like getting my clothes on to go to work, or between naps and stuff like that with my kids. And so it feels like something that, so many people can do, and you can. You
Yeah.
brush your teeth, you know what I mean? Like, you do all these things, you commit to doing these things every day. This is something you can commit to doing.
And it can't be tied to money. You
No.
can't be like, all right, I got 15 minutes, I need to make $1,000. All right,
Mhm.
I got 30 minutes, and then feel like a failure. Because
Yeah.
that's not, those aren't the tasks.
Hmm.
That's a result of the tasks.
It is. And
Right.
then
Yeah.
it's so true. That's so real. Yeah.
Yeah. Our goals need to be focused on the tasks involved that will eventually produce what we're looking for. But we can't focus on that piece. Otherwise, we never do the work.
No, no. And then when you don't get the money that you think you should get and the time you feel you should get it, then you
Mhm.
say, oh, this didn't work for me. No, you didn't work for it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, you really do have to do this for whatever bigger reason that you have than just making the money. Because as people say, cliche, the money will come when you're doing something, showing up consistently, and actually enjoying doing it. That's it. It will come.
Yeah. It is. As long as, I mean, That's the key right there. It seems so simple. Right?
Right.
Debbie, yes, we are live right now. She keeps asking in the comments.
I'm a real person and I'm
We are live right now. But it seems so simple. But it's not when we're in it.
It's not. And I think the thing that gets people is this thing right here. It's like between your head. You're so in your head. And I know, right? Because I mean, I'm not ashamed to say I got diagnosed with adult ADHD, anxiety. I suffered from depression, all of that. I'm not ashamed. I own that because I recognize if I don't own that part of my story, I can't walk into like the rest of what's coming. And so I know that it can be like an overthink, like an analysis paralysis, as they say, because we're just so stuck on like, well, I can't do that. Like, it's not possible. I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time. Well, you just spent 15 minutes spiraling that you could have spent doing something. I know that's been me. I've spiraled for like 20 minutes and I'm like, well, that was not productive. I could have like done something towards whatever goal I have, So
Right.
just
And
getting
it goes back to what are those micro steps of the day?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the overwhelm, the spiraling, the comparison-itis, all comes to focusing on a long-term goal instead of the actions I need to take right now.
Yep. That's it.
It's really what it comes down to. But man, it's hard to switch. It gets hard to switch. What has worked for you when you were in those moments of spiraling, when you felt like you were in the valley of despair, as we call it?
So for me, as I said, I suffer from anxiety. And so I've had to learn mechanisms to ground myself, right? So whatever those are. So for me, sometimes it's just as simple as like tapping my fingertips together to remind myself like these moments are presently happening. I'm not, suffering through, whatever. Like I'm here, I'm present, I'm breathing, everything is working. I have an opportunity to move forward. And then just taking a moment, right? Because it can be, so overwhelming. I represent children. And I'm still working, not for much longer, but I'm still working, And so that can be very overwhelming when it feels like you go from this to this to this. And then I'm a mom. I have 2 kids and they are very busy, right? So I can get pretty overwhelmed. But again, I just tell myself, I can't like look at my full day sometimes even. I just have to remind myself, okay, so what are we doing right now? Calm down, take a second. Is this like really as bad as you think it is? Or are we just having a moment where we're just thinking about all of the many things that we have to do, all of the many things that we need to do, all of the many things that we should have done? And I just have to remind myself. So I think sometimes it's really just whatever grounding technique, works for you guys. I think just do it. So whether that's taking breaths, for me, like I said, tapping my finger, I don't know what it is. I think I learned that in therapy or something like that. Just to remind myself, like, I think maybe it's like the sensory part of touching my fingers together just reminds me like that I'm a real person and I can experience things. And so that's what I try and do. I sometimes scroll for fun. Oh my God, imagine that. Imagine going on the fun side of whatever social media platform and looking at jokes, having conversations with friends. I think when we start doing this, sort of thing, we just get so obsessed with it that we forget like there's life outside of this. There's a whole other.
All of TikTok is marketers.
Guys, there are really funny people out there.
Into a little hole.
No, I'm like a groundhog. I got to get out of the hole and like go to the other part of the world that exists, like, and just, remind myself that this is just a thing that I'm trying to do, but I never want it to be something that I have to do. I want it to always be a choice. And I think when it's a choice, it just is like so much easier to digest when it's stressful or when I'm stressed.
I love that. Yeah. And it's we do kind of get into a bubble.
Yeah.
And it's the reminder. This is a little crazy, but so my daughter saw this live. It was like jewelry and they had like fizzy boxes and like a bowl of something. I don't even know. So she pulls it up on my phone. She's like, look at this live. Now, for the last 2 days, when I log into to TikTok, it's everybody. You'd think I turned into the fizzy jewelry like bubble. And I'm like, do not want. I'm like, we got to get this out of my algorithm. This is out of control. But that's what it's that strong that you watch something for more than 10 seconds, it's going to feed you more and more and more. And we have to remember we actually can control that bubble or whatever we're in and get out of it. I actually recommend when we're starting in any new niche to go and like not follow anybody else. So you aren't sitting there scrolling, comparing.
Yeah.
You're actually going to show up and create content that is creative, authentic to you, that sort of thing. But let's dive into content. You built an Instagram page to 20,000 followers in 60 days. So we started at 0, correct?
I started 0. April 8th.
At 0. We had a day 1
at
0, like everybody else. What was your first 2 weeks like showing up?
Yeah. So the first 2 weeks, I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. I just was like, okay. But I guess maybe because I am a lawyer, I was like, okay, like, how can I make this work? I've had a law firm. I want to say this, like, because people think like when people grow really quickly on social media, it means they must have social media experience. No, I had absolutely no experience. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a law firm. And we had a social media page, and I didn't even handle the social media there, and it did not grow at all. I just want people to know it was horrible. I didn't know what was going on. Somebody handled it. I was paying someone to do it, and it wasn't growing. So I'm going to start there. But when I started doing this, I thought, okay, like, how can I make this work? Like, what things can I do? So I just started doing market research, is what I call it. I think that was very key for me in the beginning, because I didn't know anything about this niche. I didn't know anything about social media. And the only way that I was going to learn was by researching what worked well. And that doesn't necessarily just mean like, okay, so I don't know if people have heard this copy the right cat thing, like just looking for inspiration from people who were in my niche, but also like people who were just really bomb creators. Like if they're just really good creators, I was like, oh, I love that. That is really cute. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Like, how can I do something similar? How can I incorporate that? But also too, this is like, I just realized, Lindsay, whenever people make houses, they make them the same way. The foundation gets poured the same. The house might look a little different, but it's poured the same way underneath. And so I said, okay, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. I saw what was working and I tried it for myself. And that's really what I did. I experimented and I tried things that felt like they were working for creators who I was admiring. I put my spin on them. And that's what I did. But I was posting multiple times a day. Why? Because I'm doing market research. You need a lot of data in order to determine like what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you. And that just is what worked for me. So
if I had a hat right now, I'd throw it down like Dave.
No. I mean,
we're throwing hats.
Throwing hats, shoes.
Guys, I'm going to stop you right there because you just drove that home, because it's something that I try to drive home over and over and over. You have to test. Marketing is testing. Marketing is an ongoing experiment and finding out what works for your audience. So if you've been doing the same type of video with the same format, with the same lighting and the same position and the same exact caption, the looks, how you edit it, it's not, you have to start looking at things with marketing glasses, right? It's not sometimes it's how it's edited, how it's filmed, how you show up. And it's not getting result. You got to do other things and mix it up and then go back and look. What's my audience responding to? Where's the engagement at? And learn from those numbers of analytics. and not like, oh, but that one I spent 2.5 hours on, and I know it's supposed to be the one. I know it's the one, but that's too emotionally attached. We got to always look at things with your marketing glasses. And the advice, don't just look at other people in your niche necessarily. There are a ton of content creators. Most people with large followings, I'll say, I won't say 100 because there's always some random, but most people who are creating content with large followers, they have links in their bio. They have affiliate links. They got a course. They got promo codes that they're also making money off of. They are selling things, guys.
Yes.
How are they editing their videos? What are their camera angles? How are they using captions? How are they using keywords? How are they connecting? What are their hooks? What are their call to actions? What did you enjoy about watching that video? And how can you apply it to your own content? That is a massive, amazing tip. It's not what is said, it's how it's delivered.
Yes. Yes. And that's just in life. I mean, I could literally say, I'm hungry in 3 different tones, and they're going to come across 3 different ways. Right. And so all of that delivery, that matters immensely, right? It matters immensely. And just like you said, Joanne, like when I'm looking at stuff, and even from the beginning, right? Because I knew that if I wanted to see results, I needed to understand why things were working for certain people. So I was looking at hashtags, like you said. I was looking at how they were crafting the captions. I was looking at what they were putting on the screen, how things were being filmed. I knew, like, I can't dance. Like, I mean, so me trying to get up and do some cute little whatever, that wasn't going to work for me. I also know I don't like putting on makeup. So I'm not going to, it's like a relationship. I'm not going to start something that I know I'm not going to finish, right? So I'm not going to do that. Right?
You don't have time for that.
So if I do like put on makeup, it's like, oh, where is she going? You know what I mean? It's just, I just knew I needed to, whatever I was going to do, I needed to be myself, because if I wasn't, this wasn't going to work out for me. Like I was going to do, like the many other millions of things I have done it all. I have done it all. I have spent it all. But this is the first thing that I've done. And I felt like the timing, the authenticity, like I can do this at my own pace. I can incorporate my family. Like it really has been a game changer, but it all started with researching. That's it. Like that's the biggest thing I could say in those first 30 days. I was watching a lot of social media managers, their content, and like how they're figuring out, how to analyze the data. And so that was always the suggestion, like you need XYZ number of, whatever weeks of data in order to see what's working. And so you just have to push through. It's going to be ugly in the beginning. You're going to hate it. Like I look back at my videos from the beginning and I was like, woo, growth, like
you wouldn't see that. Yes. And you can't celebrate it. And know how far you've actually come, unless you dove in and went for it.
You do it. That's right. Yeah. So you just have to do it. Nike's not wrong.
And it wasn't all roses. We did have a TikTok account.
Oh my gosh. Listen.
Right?
Yes.
And as many, we go through the TikTok ban. And we don't own our social media. It's rented. It's free rent.
It is.
And TikTok is self-regulated, meaning by its users. So it's very common. It's just a part of the game over there.
Yeah.
Right? And so talk to us a little bit about going through that, because it's kind of like a knife in the chest the first time. How did that go for you?
Okay, so basically I started really strong on TikTok, right? And to be quite fair, my Instagram was my backup. Like it was my backup thing. You know what I mean? Like
I love that. And thank you for sharing that, because it can change and evolve. Yeah.
And for me, I was like, ooh, TikTok is really, like I had a couple things go viral very quickly, as it can, right? I'll mention about like going viral later. But so I had several things to go viral, and I was like, oh, my TikTok is growing. I went from like 0 to like 6,000 on TikTok in like 2 weeks. I was like, oh, I am winning. And then the community guidelines violations started coming in. And me as a lawyer, I was like, well, let me look at the actual guidelines. Let me see. And I was like, well, these are not specific enough for me to understand what I need to change. And it's just like you said, it is user regulated. So if someone doesn't like your post, they can report it, and then it's really like out of your hands. There's nothing you can do. You can appeal, but it's like when you feel like you've got momentum, it was like I was crushed. I think for a weekend, I just sat in solace. Like
we had the weekend pity party. You know what? That's okay. That's okay.
Oh man, like I have to start over. But the point being, I was like, I have to start over. Like I'm not gonna just let this end my progress. So like I am a person who is a believer, right? And so I was just praying about all of this. I was like, oh, this is like so much. I got through my weekend pity party, and then my Instagram started to pick up, and I was like, okay, so we're just gonna shift our focus, and then you know what I mean. From there, Instagram shot up, but I will say, TikTok is a force to be reckoned with. And I mean, I started a second TikTok account. I still don't. It's doing very poorly. I'm just being honest. Like it's not doing what I needed to do. So I'm gonna start yet another TikTok account. And I mean, and that's the amazing thing about being a person who owns a business and who's working on social media is you can reinvent and you can start over as many times as you want. And the best thing about it is it's free. Like they're not charging you every time you start a new account. And
you can go make an account tomorrow where the whole thing is where you only wear purple.
That's exactly.
And a week later, you can make another account where it's all about dogs. It just.
And you can do and say and kind of create however you want. And so I'm going to start another TikTok account, and I might have to start another 7, during my journey. But I mean, that's a beautiful, ugly world of doing stuff on social media, is that you might have to start over, but that's okay. That's why you have an email list.
Exactly. Bingo. Don't forget the email list, because that's what helps you. That's what you own. That's what your business owns.
Exactly.
And that's what you can keep following up and continue growing connection.
Exactly.
With your followers. There's something there once they give you an email address. That's a big deal.
It is.
It's a big deal. And social media will come and go, and other types of platforms will come. We have Threads now. We have TikTok now competing with Threads and Twitter by adding, text TikToks and things like that. It's always evolving, just like our content will need to.
Yeah.
So it's just not here's the box. This is what you check off, and that's what you're going to do forever. It goes back to that testing. What am I going to try today?
Right.
And being excited about trying, and it's not about failure or success. Just the task of the day. I think we put a lot of weight on like a single video.
Yes.
So let's talk about viral. I have a lot of opinions about viral, but let me hear yours.
So my thing with this is like, okay, you might go viral, right? But the thing that I think people fail to forget or fail to think about is like, you go viral and you don't have your systems in place. You go viral and you don't know what you're doing. You have set yourself up for a burnout quickly, unless you get it together even quicker than you went viral. Because like, for example, like if you go and you're just starting out, and let's say in your first 2 days, you go viral and you get 100, 1,000 new followers. What are you going to do with those followers? You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? Do you have your systems in place? Are you going to be able to recreate the sort of content do you even know how you went viral? I honestly prefer steady growth, whatever that is. So that might be, 1-2 followers a day. That might be, a couple hundred a week, whatever, steady, because with each level that you increase, you're gaining the tools, the skills, whatever is necessary in order to keep those people, have quality content, and then you're not creating an unattainable standard for yourself for like content creation in the future. Because like, let's say you go viral on something that has absolutely nothing to do with what you want to talk about. I mean, those people didn't come here for the stuff you want to talk about. They came here for the thing that you posted, and that's what they're expecting. And so just as quickly as they came, they will leave.
Yeah.
You want the right followers. You don't just want any followers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Viral followers are just, they're on the edge. They're fringy. They're not connected. They just like that one little micro moment that you shared.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily buyers. They're not necessarily positive community members. They might follow the viral video one week and then report you next week.
That's true.
Right? They're not like in it to win it with you on the journey. We're a true follower from your content that's around your niche and all of that you'll gain and be able to build that trust with. You'll get a lot further with those, even if the follower count is smaller.
Yeah. I would much rather have 1,000 people who really, really rock with me, who are really loyal to my stuff, who buy everything I put out, than 1.1 million followers who could care less. Like, I mean, it is not, that's just me personally, because I'm not monetizing off of that 1 million. It looks good. Like, I guess it's not, oh, she's not one, but like, okay, she's also in the red in her bank account every month. Like, and that's the reality for a lot of creators. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw somewhere in the comments, I don't know where to start. If you're a Blueprints member, go to start here. Go through, start here. Go to all the daily support calls, attend Decade in a Day. Look at all the 20 different niches we have of business plans and offers and all of that, and see which one sparks some interest, sparks some joy. There is most everyone, like we shared earlier, is on social media that has a big following, is selling something, is recommending something. And they're all in some type of niche. And there's just tons and different. There's so many options. So there's not a right one, and nobody needs to go into the same one. Find what works for you, because then you're going to create content. How did you pick your niche?
So I am just by nature very servant-hearted. So regardless of what I was going to do, I knew it needed to be able to help people. So in my job, I do a lot of social work. And the biggest thing that I see is that there are a lot of people whose financial situation put them in communities that put them at higher risk for committing certain crimes. And honestly, it's really all about the economics and the finances for them. But I'm looking at myself and I'm seeing my debt and I'm like, well, it's all about the finances for me too. So, and I thought I wanted to find something that I could benefit from myself, but that I could share with people. So like the amazing thing about, for me, when I found my niche, which is the wealth niche, is that not only am I able to share with people, like, everyone, affiliate marketing isn't for everyone. Like, just being completely honest, like there are some people who, and for some reason it is for everyone, but for some reason in their minds, they don't think it's for them. But there's other things that they can do. Right, that don't require them to leave their children, which, like, I have so many clients who can't, work a good job because they've got 9, 10 children. And so it makes it very difficult for them to find income, to find housing, right? But I wanted to be able to share with them things that they can do from their phone, right?
Right.
And so that's what this journey has been all about for me. Like, what can I do that I'm not going to get sick of talking about? One, that I actually need for myself at the moment too. But 3, that like I actually have some information on, right? So, and that's kind of how I selected my niche. And I've been able to, countless conversations. Like I said, I'm still working with my clients and their families. Like, listen, these are some things that you can do to bring extra income into your home, right? Like, you guys can do this as a family, you know. And then we start thinking about bringing families back together. We start thinking about bringing communities together around like the central idea of creating better income opportunities. I know that is like a very like wide net, high level thing, but I just wanted to be able to help people ultimately. And I felt like this is how I could help. I couldn't be disingenuous. I mean, I am in the military, but I hope nobody's listening.
You saw in real life,
Yes.
from being a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
where the main pain was for many clients.
Right.
Right? And you have that experience. You have the experience of how that pain affects your own life.
Mm-hmm.
And really how it weaves this tiny little thread between you and anyone else, even though your financial situations overall might be different,
Mm-hmm.
And living situations and things like that, but the pain is the same.
It is.
And I love the tips that you gave about how you came about picking your niche. And that can go for any niche. That won't direct you just to one.
Mm-hmm.
So go back, guys, and rewatch that. And yes, you are military. Thank you for your service. It's coming
Oh,
up.
thank you for your
You are active. You are actually like going
Yeah,
overseas soon.
I am. Yeah, in like 2 months or so, I'm leaving for almost a year, which sucks, but that's not stopping anything.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that I'm still gonna be doing while I'm gone. I have read no regulations that stop me from it. So, I mean, it's really been a great opportunity. I'm a reservist. I'm just activated currently.
Right.
So for anyone's confusion, like how is she? Yeah, no, I am a reservist, but I'm being activated. So I will be overseas, and I will be gone for almost a year, away from my family and my kids.
Wow.
Missing fourth grade and second grade.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot. You're carrying a lot.
yeah, it's a lot.
And you're also demonstrating a lot
Oh
of
wow.
really what's possible for a lot of people and for your two kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, I mean, you're checking so many boxes off. I want to like bring you a water. Do you want an iced tea? You need a whiskey, a glass of water.
Yeah.
You've got a lot going on, but
Mhm.
figure it out.
Mhm.
Because it really shows to me, I feel like you've shown all of us that you just take the moment of the day. All right, now I have 10 minutes. Okay,
Mhm.
now I have 15 minutes here. What am I going to do to make these 15 minutes count? Whether it's with your kids, whether it's for the, legal law firm, or it's for your business and showing up online.
Mhm.
And you just move through them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's good. I hope that I am an example to anyone who feels like they just don't have time. Like I
Yeah.
literally don't have time. Like
I'm sitting there just thinking about what your schedule looks like right
I
now.
don't have time. And my son and my daughter cheer and play football. So I go. I
No.
mean, the day starts at like 6:30, get up, get ready. And sometimes then the summer they've gone to work with me. I work a full day. I have court all day. I come home for like 20, 30 minutes. We grab snacks. We go to practice. We're at practice for like 2 hours. By the time I come home, it's like 9:30. I still have to make dinner if I haven't, or my wonderful boyfriend has already done that. And so we're just eating. But like that is the entire day. But I'm still finding time.
Right.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. I'm still finding time. So you've got time in there. You just have to like look at your schedule and see where it is.
It almost sounds like you don't have time to overthink it.
No, I don't have time
You
for
don't
that.
have time to sit there and wonder. You don't have time to compare to everyone else. You don't have time to look back and be the biggest bully to yourself, because
Mm-hmm.
you got other things to do. So you're going to film and post and keep going.
Yeah, even when I'm tired, even when I don't want to. And I think that's what that initial like month commitment for me also helped me to realize, like when I didn't know what I was doing, when I was confused, when I was frustrated, I was too exhausted, I was having a pity party, I did it anyways, right? Because I knew that this was something that I was serious about. And I told myself in the beginning, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it 100%. So, I didn't give myself another option.
Yeah, quitting was off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Always comes back to that.
Yeah.
When we keep it next to us at the dinner table, ready for a conversation,
Yeah.
it deters our focus.
Yes.
And we don't need to talk to the quitter at the table.
Who phone, who this? Like,
Right?
Yeah.
You always hear it's you are who you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
You also are who you surround your thoughts with.
Yes. Yes. That is so powerful.
Where are our thoughts going each day?
And it's so easy to go to a negative place with your thoughts, but just as easy as it is to go to a negative place, it's simple as easy to go to a positive one. So it's just like making the choice. Or if you feel like, there are times where I'm human and I do feel like, oh my gosh, like this is just too much, especially now that, I'm deploying. There have been many times where I have been like, oh, this is just too much. You know what I mean? Coordinating everything because I'm divorced. I didn't tell you, I'm divorced. I am a single mom. And so coordinating with my kid's dad because they're going to be with him for half the time and with my parents. And you know what I mean? It's just like I have been having those moments, but I have to remind myself this is just a moment. Like this moment will come, and just as quickly as it came, it will pass. So we just have to like stay in the mind frame. We can't stay in the moment.
Yeah, we can't stay stuck.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and our emotions are the same way. And I applaud the weekend pity party you had, or like that's fine. Have the pity party.
Mm-hmm.
I think allow yourself that, but there's always an end to a party. Yes. Nobody wants you to stay all night at their house, right? Yeah. You got to go home and deal with your shit and pick yourself back up and leave that party. Yeah. No party is forever. And, but it's okay to have them. I think sometimes people think like we can't be negative at all as we're doing something new. And it's just kind of part of it, but you have to recognize it.
Yeah.
And step out of it and through it.
Yeah. And I think sometimes like when I first started doing this, I mean, I was like, I told myself I wasn't going to fail, but I also didn't tell anyone I knew that I was doing this. I didn't scream this from the rooftops at all. It actually took me a full like month to tell my sister. She might be watching this, but it took me like 2 to tell my mom. And she still doesn't 100% understand, but because I am still human and I didn't want the judgment. And not saying that they would have judged me, but sometimes not only do you have to avoid the negative voices in your head, you have to avoid the negative voices in others, because people can shut your dreams down and not even know that they're doing it just by simply giving you their opinion. And so sometimes you just have to start your dream and let them see the results. And then you go from there. You know what I mean? So
it's so true. I mean, it's as simple as when you're pregnant and you've decided a name. Before that baby comes, if you share what the baby's name is, you're going to get a whole lot of opinions about that name. But once the baby's there and everybody's lips are tight.
Yep.
Oh, that's wonderful. There are no opinions about that name.
Right,
and it's all about protecting the space that you need.
Yep.
With the decisions you've made, and then allowing other people in when you're ready. And that's okay to do that.
Yes, it is. Because a lot of people will come to me and they'll say like, I mean, I don't want to show my face. And so whenever people say certain comments to me, I think about like, what's the underlying reason for that, right? And the underlying reason for it, I don't want to show my face, is because I'm afraid that my friends and my coworkers and my family are going to see what I'm doing and think I'm crazy, or I'm up to another harebrained scheme. Okay, guess what? Don't include any of them, and you won't have to worry about that.
Block them. Start the new account, block them all, so you don't even have to worry about them finding it by mistake. It's super easy.
I tell people all the time, like, I've gotten, I've grown now to like almost 40,000 followers, and it's really recent that people that I know have started to find me, and it's only been 5. So if you think that people are really out here searching for you, they're not searching for you. Okay. Like they're not searching for you. They're not going to find you. Like, just trust me. Unless you're like connecting your contacts to your social media, There's too many people on social media for them to find you. Like, trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, we can't when we're learning, it's new. And
Yeah.
we know we're going to make mistakes, and we don't want to look like we're making mistakes in
Yeah.
front of people. And we tend to take in others' information because there's some insecurity. And it's not just from family and friends, it's seeing a negative post on TikTok about something that we're doing, possibly. And it's like, okay, put your marketing glasses on. What are they marketing? What are they trying to sell you? They're just doing negative marketing. Like, understand the full picture of what's going on. Nobody's taking time out of their day being negative on social media. There's a reason behind it, and they may feel bad about themselves, and it's the only way they know how to express that. They're asking for help. They need a better way to get their emotions out.
That is such a good point too, because like, you know, we get a lot of negative comments, especially I think in this space. People are like, that's crap, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? And when I don't ignore those comments, I always respond kindly. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like, I hate that you don't quite understand how this works, but I'm happy to share. Right. Because oftentimes I realize that people, like you said, it's like their negativity isn't really towards me because I haven't done anything to you. You don't know me. You just randomly saw me and you feel some sort of way about what you have going on that has nothing to do with me. And so just like sometimes reaching out in a kind comment, people have apologized to me when I have done, oh, no, I didn't mean to be offensive. I'm so sorry. And I'm just like, you know, it's not a problem. But don't let those negative comments like knock you off, because they're going to be there. People always going to have opinion, but no, it has much more to do with them than it does with you.
Yeah, it really does. It's hard to say, like everything else we've talked about today. It sounds simple, hard in the moment. But that's where it's just, you got to just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep moving forward, and belief in yourself.
Yes.
Is key.
Yes.
And we're all worthy. Every one of you is worthy.
Yes.
No matter where you are, you're worthy of what your goals, your dreams, everything. So just take it one step at a time. I hope that's what everyone grabs from this conversation with you, because you really hit it home. But that's really what's key. Thank you so much for sharing. I want to leave you with the last word today.
Okay.
What is your advice for those in the challenge and in the middle of overwhelm?
I have been there. You know what I mean? So I want to tell you that this like challenge is really such an eye-opening opportunity to learn not just how to do this, right? But to learn how to do life in general. Like, you can get such a different perspective from this. I have been enlightened in a way that my bachelor's degree, I have a master's degree, and my law degree did not enlighten me, right? That there are so many possibilities out there if you just simply allow yourself to receive them. So like on the moments where you're feeling down and you're feeling confused and you're feeling frustrated, just recognize that it is a moment and it will pass. Just like take a second, take a step back, find something funny, whatever it is you enjoy, eat a snack, I don't know, go for a run if you're into that, and come back to this. You know, don't just like write it off as something that's not going to work for you. It will work for you if you work for it. And like anything else that's new and confusing, it's going to be a little rough. But if you push through, I'm telling you, on the other side, it's just beautiful. So that's my advice. Ultimately, just push through the moment. Don't get stuck in it.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. You have to come back. I know you're going to go away for a year, but maybe we'll have you back right before.
Yeah.
Just shoot me an email. Let us know. I would love for Dave to meet you as well. I know he would love to meet you and chat with you. And set it up before more foul language is coming, guys. You are a badass. There is no other word. Thank you for your service. Thank you for showing us what it looks like to show up each day.
Thank you.
In our life. And you are a massive inspiration, and just
thank you.
Keep going. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I can't wait. I would love to come back.
Definitely. Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay.
All right.
All right, everyone. If you missed any part of that interview, This is the one to rewatch. This is the one to get you through the weekend, to start off next week with. Go back, rewatch, check out Lindsay on her social. You can follow Lindsay on Instagram at Linds underscore the marketing mama. MAMA is how mama is spelled. And Linds at the beginning is LINDS underscore the marketing mama. Go find her on Instagram, give her a follow, give her some love on her videos. Let her know that you saw her on Wake Up Legendary, and follow her journey there. Well, it's Friday, everyone. Dave should be back on Monday. Hopefully, he's not too much under the weather, that it's lasting for days. I know it was definitely a little bit sick yesterday, but I'm glad I can be here and be able to sit down with Lindsay and share her with all of you. Have a fabulous, fabulous weekend. Stay legendary, stay positive, and just keep going, guys. Peace.